What's up, fellow chefs? Welcome to my second video ever. Today we will be making something called spaghetti alla vongole. Now if you don't know what spaghetti alla vongole is, it's a traditional Italian dish that originated in Naples. It's very simple, very easy to make, very light. It's a great summer, springtime dish. It consists of only about 6 ingredients, so let's get into it.
To start, we need to introduce the star of today's show, clams. For today I'll be using manila clams, but any small clam will do the trick. Now I know this dish is usually made with Vongoli clams, but I actually couldn't get a hold of any. I mean, I love food, but paying $150 for a pound of clams to get shipped to me is a little ridiculous. With that said, it's time to start prepping. Now the trick with clams is you should always let them soak in salt water for about 10 to 20 minutes before you cook them. Want to know why? Well, let me explain.
So, why do we put the clams in water for about 10 to 20 minutes before we cook them? Well, what the clams actually do when they get put in water is they breathe. And when clams breathe, they actually get all the sand and all the excess kind of grit and salt water that's in them out of them. It's a way to basically make the clams clean themselves.
While the clams are enjoying themselves in a nice little salty bath, it's time to start prepping the other ingredients. To start, we need to finely chop about 2 tablespoons worth of parsley. Like I said, you're going to want to use a decent bit of this stuff just because it adds such a nice aroma and flavor to the dish that really complements the clams. It'll also add some color to a somewhat bland looking dish, making it look a little more appetizing. It's not to say that this dish won't be good, it's just sometimes dishes need a little help to actually look their best, if you know what I mean. With the parsley chopped and placed in a nice decorative bowl, set it aside for later, and it's time to introduce the other ingredients. Now it's time to pick our favorite clove from our little bundle of garlic and grate it over our microplane. Now while you watch this beautiful footage of me crushing and grating garlic in the background, I think it's time to talk about the importance of using high quality ingredients in this dish. Now some of the more observant viewers might have noticed that I previously said this dish only has about 6 ingredients. Well, 1, I kind of lied, it really has 7. But 2, I'm going to tell you right now that the other 5 ingredients are olive oil, chili flakes, salt, pepper, and a 4th cup of dry white wine. That's it. Why yes, the other 5 are all seasonings. Because of this, you have to ensure you have nice, high-quality ingredients. But what do I mean by high quality? Well, I don't necessarily mean expensive. High-quality ingredients don't have to be expensive. Just when you buy your garlic for this dish, make sure there are no bruises, make sure it's not germinating. When you're buying your parsley, make sure it's not brown or wilted. Trust me, it may seem like a little bit of a picky thing, but something this simple really and truly needs you to be on top of your ingredient buying. With that little rant out of the way, it's finally time to start cooking. What you want to do first is to get your pasta started by boiling some water and adding a couple tablespoons of salt and olive oil. Now I actually started my sauce first, which isn't necessarily the best thing because by the time the spaghetti was actually cooked, my sauce had gotten cold and I had to warm it up again. Start with the pasta and then get to the sauce. Or to put it bluntly, don't be like me. Now it's time to start the clams. Place the clams in a saute pan over high heat and throw in 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. Then proceed to cover our seafaring friends with the lid. Our goal here is to steam these clams. You'll know when a clam is done when it pops open. This whole affair should take about 30 seconds to a minute. Clams really do not take long to cook, so you gotta watch them. Don't go anywhere, don't go feed the dog or do some random thing. Watch the clams, you do not want to overcook them. From here, use your tongs to separate the meat of the clams from the actual clam shells. Now this can be a little difficult sometimes because sometimes the clams don't open up fully, but with a little bit of time and effort you'll get there. This is also a good time to say that if any of your clams aren't opened at all, then they should be thrown out. That means the clam is dead and it is not good to eat. After you've separated your clams from their clam shells, toss them with a little bit of olive oil just to keep them hydrated and set them aside for later. Now your brain will understandably want to throw out all that clam water that's sitting in your pan, but don't do that. We will be using this water as the base for our sauce. Start by putting the pan over a medium-high heat and seasoning with pepper, but not salt. This dish is naturally salty, so we'll be salting at the end as a little bit of a finisher. From here, go ahead and add the garlic, parsley, some extra water to add more bulk to our sauce, a couple of tablespoons of high-quality olive oil. I happen to be using a Spanish olive oil, which has a lighter but slightly earthier flavor that I think complements this dish well. Glancing over that little rant, add some chili flakes. I like it spicy, so I went heavy on the flakes and finished with about a 1/4 cup of dry white wine. After that, cover and let it simmer just until the alcohol flavor from the wine has been cooked out.
You do not want to let this reduce too much. The reason being is is the water that we cook the clams in, which is what we're using for the sauce, will evaporate. It's water. If you leave it there too long, you're gonna lose all of your sauce and you're not gonna have anything to eat. So, all you're trying to do is after you have the wine and garlic and all that other stuff, you just want to let it sit, kind of let the alcohol cook off and let the garlic get nice and soft. After that, put it to the side, it's done for now.
With the pasta cooked to a perfect al dente, it's time to finish this dish. Start by adding the clams to the sauce and giving them a quick toss to coat them as well as reheat them. After about 20 seconds or so, throw in your pasta and your pasta water. Give it all one final mix and it's time to plate. So some of you may be confused as to why I put a little bit of pasta water in here. Well, it's to actually use the starches from the pasta water to make the sauce adhere to the pasta way better. It'll also give the pasta a really nice shiny appearance on the outside. With all that said, it's time to start plating. Now a little quick tip for plating your pasta: if you kind of grab it and gently let it drop onto a plate while turning your tongs, you'll get this nice mound / ball of pasta right in the center of your plate. Now some of you may notice this video, and that's because I posted it on my Instagram, which you should go follow, at ChefColton99. I post a lot of extra comment and previews for videos, so go check it out. This dish is amazing. I mean, look at my face while eating this. If this isn't the look of a man having every dopamine receptor in his brain firing all at once, then I don't know what is.
My thoughts on this dish. It's delicious. I mean, it's traditional Italian cooking. It's very simple. Ingredients are very easy to find, very widespread, very affordable. On top of that, it has this very light flavor. I'm getting that kind of earthiness from the olive oil, the seafood flavor from the clam. It doesn't taste overly seafoody. The seafood flavor is there, but it's not straight clam in your mouth. On top of that, you get the kick from the chili flakes. You get a little bit of that herby smell and kind of mouth coat from that parsley. Oh, it's a beautiful, beautiful light go-to dish that takes about 10-15 minutes to make. Why not give it a try? You can also, if you want, take some cherry tomatoes, throw those right on there too. Of course, at least it's not my preferred way of doing it, but still, don't be afraid to experiment and try out different things. You know, this is cooking, it's art. You can do what you want, be your own artist. Cheers, hope you come back next week.